What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. It's been a while since I've done a talking episode giving a bit of my opinion, so let's roll the intro, jump straight into it. Just before we do get straight into it, I want to talk about some of the new stuff I've got going on. I got a sweet 2010 Premiership banner which might fall off during the course of the video because it's stuck up by sticky tape. I've got a new ring light which does this, which is pretty cool.
Wow!
Looks like that. Does it work? Does it not work? Does it have to be close to my face? Who knows? I'm sure you'll give me your opinions down in the comments below. So anyway, this video is going to be about some of the rule changes I would like to see happen, some that are currently happening that aren't going to happen next season. Hello to the shorter quarters, but let's just jump straight into it now. So the first rule change that I want to talk about is the shorter quarters. I love these shorter quarters with my whole entire heart. So pretty much the shorter quarters came in because of this whole coronavirus thing. We didn't know if we were going to play the whole season, so the season's been cut down. Shorter quarters came in, lets us cram as many games as we can into a week, etc, etc. But I absolutely love it. So pretty much what happens is it's 16 minutes normal time and then time on, so which will take it to about 22 minutes given, but the quarters previously would be about 22 minutes and then they would go up to 27, sometimes 33 minutes, depending on the type of game and the red zone and etc and all that sort of stuff. But which makes it for a longer game, obviously. So if you've got a quarter that goes for about half an hour, you're looking at 3, 6, 9, 12. You're looking at 2 hours just of game time. That's not including quarter time break, half time, and 3/4 time break. So you're looking at a 2.5 hour spectacle, because our game is a spectacle, and obviously we love every single bit of it, and we don't really want to change it unless we do need to change it. But now let me give you my opinion on why I think these shorter quarters work so much better. So if you're a main watcher of my channel or you follow me on Instagram, you know that I love the soccer, absolutely love it. Follow Manchester City, but I know that first half's 45 minutes, second half's 45 minutes, and then they have extra time or time on, which will probably be about 3, 4, 5 minutes depending on tackle, cards and injuries and stuff like that throughout the half. But I know that a game isn't going to last longer than 100 minutes, which is an hour and a half, or just over an hour and a half. With the football though, 2 hours, 2.5 hours on a Saturday night. So if a game starts at 7:10 on a Saturday night, and say you get the train in, you're not going to come home till about 11:30 or on a Friday night or on a Thursday night. So say on a Thursday night the game starts, whatever time it starts, 7 o'clock or whatever, and you got work on Friday, you're not coming home till close to midnight because the game goes for, close to 3 hours. With the shorter quarters, I feel like the game is obviously the game is quicker, but I think it would be even more of a spectacle than it is at the moment. I think there will be higher scoring. We kind of saw that in round 1, but I guess round 1 isn't, you can't just base off your decisions off round 1. We'll have to go for, the whole season. That's going to be this shorter quarter stuff. But yeah, high scoring. Teams won't fluff around with the ball, kicking backwards and stuff like this if they know that they haven't got an extra 10 minutes of ball time. So like, what happens in the last 5 or so minutes of a quarter if the team's up? They just start kicking it around, fluffing around with the ball. They're not going to keep attacking and wreck themselves if they've got possession or if they're in the lead. So yes, the longer quarters do bring a bit of this war of attrition, but the shorter quarters, I feel, would bring a more higher scoring, more counter-attacking, more just attacking in general, other than kicking back and stuff like that. Let me just use Collingwood as an example for my argument for shorter quarters. A classic Collingwood thing to do is a fade out at towards the end of the third quarter, towards the end of the second quarter. What I mean by that is during the last 5 to 7 minutes of a quarter, which is like the red zone time, we just absolutely fade out. Doesn't matter if we're up by 30 points, doesn't matter if we're up by 10 points, we'll just fade out. Shorter quarters stop that sort of fade out, and I'll keep saying it, it just keeps up the attack and it keeps up the intensity of the game. Another thing that I like these shorter quarters to do is, this will get into my second rule change, is it allows for more games to be played throughout the year. I am huge on versing teams 2 times home and away. So that is my second point, a 36 round season. So you'll hear Scott Pendlebury talk about it, or he talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I am all for a 36 round season, shorter preseason, 36 round season. At the moment, players go back training after the grand final, so September, October. They don't play till real games till March, April. So I think a shorter preseason and double the games is the only way the AFL will ever be fair. This season, versing each team once, is the fairest it has been in a long time fixture-wise, because, well, how is it fair that, there's 23 rounds, Hawthorn versus everyone, but they get to verse Gold Coast twice, or, West Coast versus everyone, they get to verse whoever's the shithouse team at the time twice. I don't think that's the fairest way to do it. I can see why they're doing it, but I don't see that's the fairest way possible. The game will not be fair until we verse each team home and away. That means more travelling. That means those Western Australian people don't have to sook about travelling, too much, because every team will travel up there and they'll travel down here for games as well. But yeah, the NBA do it. The soccer do it. The A-League, they're currently versing each team, I think, about 3 times a season. But the EPL, obviously, I keep saying it, I love the EPL. I think that the second thing that needs to be changed is double the home and away seasons, 36 rounds a season. The third thing that I would like to see changed is we are currently the only sport that if the ball hits the post, it's dead ball. And I know that's, tradition, that's how it's always been. But I can't remember what year it was, but a few years ago in the NAB Cup, or whatever the hell it was called back then, if the ball hit the post and came back in, it was play on and fair game. And I absolutely love that. If the ball hits the post and goes in, it should be a goal. Why do I think this? It just eliminates the need for the security camera footage, goal line assistant technology that we have at the moment. Yes, we're a multi-million-dollar company, the AFL is. But for some reason, they've got 7-Eleven security cameras operating if a goal is being touched behind or not. It's like 15 frames a second, which is just utter bullshit. If you eliminate the need for the touch replay, whatever it's called, not VAR, I don't even know what the hell it's called anymore. The match review, doesn't matter. If you eliminate the need for that, the only way to do that is by, if it hits the post, goes in, goal. If it hits the little post and it goes in, that's a point. But if it hits the little post, that's still out on the full or a throw in. But if it hits the big post and bounces back in, play on, all hell breaks loose. I just think it makes for a bit of a better, I keep saying spectacle, so I'll try and use another word. A bit more entertaining if the ball bounces in and bounces out. That could come to winning a premiership, and it could come down to losing a premiership. Another thing that I would like to see change, I kind of just thought about it now, is the AFL were when they were doing that sub-vesting, they were trialing that sub-vest out. I didn't hate it, to be honest. I think maybe bringing the interchange to 5 or 6, I know there was a big call for it and that's not going to happen anymore, but I think bringing the interchange to 5 or 6 would help, especially with this shorter games in in Luke's AFL future. And if you're versing teams twice, so if you're giving him 36 games a season, you will definitely need to extend benches. So extending the bench to 5 or 6, I think, is a very good idea. It provides longevity to careers, and if you want that second ruckman, but you still want those small forwards or whatever it may be, you still get that flexibility to do that sort of stuff. A couple of other quick fire rule changes that I would like to see is in AFLW, the girls have a last touch out of bounds rule, so kind of like the soccer throw-ins. I'd like to see that brought in. Kind of speeds the game up, kind of takes away the need for deliberate out of bounds, so it'll not only try and create play through the corridor, which is a little bit faster than playing around the wings, it'll also kind of diminish the need for players to kick it to the boundary, and then you're like, oh, is it going to get called out of bounds or whatever? So I think last touch out of bounds is a good rule to bring in. And finally, what I would like to see is no backwards kicking. Well, sorry, yes, backwards kicking, but no marking while you're backwards kicking, because that just slows down the play so much. It's like, I know you have to reset and stuff, but don't keep calling it a mark. It's just play on. You kick backwards, play on. When teams kick backwards, it's usually not to a direct one-on-one or a direct contest. It's always to a free player anyway. So just call it play on, get the game flowing a little bit more. Anyway, they have been my couple of changes, well, more than a few changes that I would like to see in the future. I think it just revs up the game a little bit more, gives it a little bit more life, especially, the shorter quarters and the longer season. Just gives it a little bit more oomph. There's talk of wildcards and stuff, Pendlebury's talked about that. I'm not going to go into that. Maybe that's a second video that we can have a look at, Swoopers, but that's not this video at the moment. But yeah, just a couple of rule changes that I would like to see. And I don't want to hear people in the comments, because everyone says it. It's just like, leave the game how it is, if we shortened the quarters, Collingwood would have won the 2018 Premiership, or Sydney would have won against West Coast, or St Kilda would have won against Collingwood. Yeah, far out. If we had antibacterial soap in the 1800s, there wouldn't have been, deaths from the bubonic plague as much, or people wouldn't have died from the flu and stuff. These things happen. Things change. Things evolve. We need to be evolving with the times. Anyway, Swoopers, that's enough from me today. Couple of videos coming up. Keep an eye on my Instagram, @Swoop Luke. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers, I'll swoop you later.